Well, thank you for watching the Afternoon Drive. This is a live edition. Please make sure that you are still subscribed to the channel. I see that I am losing subscribers, which means either people are unsubscribing or more than likely, YouTube is helping them unsubscribe. So please make sure, check on your subscription status. Make sure that you are still subscribed to the channel. Like and share this video. It's the only way that we get the algorithm up, and you know how this works. When you go live, they put your video in a different place than the regular videos on the channel. So thank you so much for helping us get the word out. Rupert Murdoch is among some of the billionaire class that is beginning to back away from Ron DeSantis. And let me share an astute, thought-filled insight on that. I told you. Ron DeSanctimonious, St. Ron Deep State DeSantis, is not ready for prime time. Make no mistake about it. Ron DeSantis has become a caricature of himself and of conservatism. He is Ted Cruz 2.0. Stick with me on this for a moment. Before Donald Trump threw his hat in the ring in 2016, Ted Cruz was seen as, the extreme conservative. And that was a character that Ted Cruz was playing. You remember when he tried to pull a Mr. Smith Goes to Washington and hold a filibuster in the United States Senate by reading Dr. Seuss's Green Eggs and Ham. I don't remember what the issue was over now, but Ted Cruz was constantly coming out as this senator from Texas with his old nasal twang. He's from Canada. And it has never been proven to me constitutionally that Ted Cruz was even eligible ever to have run for president. But that's, again, another discussion for another time. But he wanted to try to pen himself as if he was this extreme conservative. He was, they're fighting the good fight. He was a prop built by, are you ready for it? Yes, the Bush crime family. Ted Cruz has never been this extreme conservative guy. If you look into his past, you find out that his dad worked with George H.W., old CIA stuff. And then Ted, right out of college, his lawyer wife, working for Goldman Sachs, she was in the Bush White House. She was put in charge of all things the border. He worked in the Bush White House. And then all of a sudden he gets to Congress, into the Senate, and he becomes this ultra right-wing guy. This was a setup. They knew in 2016 Jeb was going to run. They needed there to be a foil, somebody in the pack that Jeb could smack around during a debate, and that would make all the conservatives get in line, and he would vanquish Ted Cruz, and Ted Cruz was in on it. He would vanquish Ted Cruz, and then later on give him something like an ambassadorship, appoint him to the cabinet, or maybe even to the Supreme Court. But when Donald Trump got in the race and absolutely thrashed Jeb Bush and made him look like this nerdy little schoolboy wearing sweaters who had to have his mommy go on the morning talk shows and tell everybody how mean Donald Trump was to her son, he vanquished Jeb. And the Bush crime family and the political elites were stunned that this guy they considered a reality TV host beat the establishment pick, Jeb. And then Ted Cruz was stuck in this character that he created. Ron DeSantis is a character. And the American people, conservative Americans, see it and they see through it. All he has tried to do is get to the right of everything on Donald Trump. That is seemingly all he's got going for him. Now, the billionaire class initially got behind Ron DeSantis because they don't want Donald Trump back. And it has nothing to do with the policy of make America great again. It has everything to do with the fact he cuts off the grift. He's turning off the gravy train of the industrial military complex. And these guys are all in on that grift. And Donald Trump turns that financial spigot off. He would stop this incredible transfer of wealth to the 1% through these government emergency programs. And he doesn't play nice with the establishment. He's not their guy. They don't want him. Ron DeSantis, Deep State Ron, is an establishment guy. Remember, JAG attorney. His job was to go around the world and get our military out of hot water in international courts for things that they had done that never quite make the headlines of the newspapers, but are certainly, nasty things. I'm sure usually somehow, crimes within the nations in which they are guests, but acting more like conquerors. Makes you wonder how many of them might be in on the activities as portrayed in the movie The Sound of Freedom. Did I really just say that? You can't say that. Well, I did. I just said it. So that was Ron DeSantis' job. Get them out of hot water. He also oversaw and gave the military the so-called accepted formula for how to do torture at Gitmo. He was the guy they would go to and ask, can we do this? Can we do this? And he basically created the whole, this is what you're allowed to do, and wink, wink. And when I'm not looking, you can do whatever. That's Ron DeSantis. And by the way this works within the deep state, you got to understand these people are not just filth on us. They are filth to one another. They got something on Ron. Something that they can use to keep him on a short leash and keep him controlled. See, what makes Trump so dangerous to them, he's not on their leash. They've tried to manufacture, Russian collusion, the Ukraine phone call, now these indictments over the fact that he took a Chinese menu home and they're wanting to call it, a top secret document. All this stuff that they keep trying to fabricate is just more proof they don't have anything on him. They don't have a leash on him, so they keep trying to manufacture and create. But I promise you, they got stuff on Ron. And Ron was supposed to do a part. You be the Donald Trump without the drama, and we'll put you in the White House. The problem is, and I said this in the very beginning, he did a good job in Florida, but not because these were his ideas. The conservatives of Florida moved Ron DeSantis to the right. He did not move them to the right. And he began to pick up steam and popularity based on the fact that during COVID and lockdowns, and when you had governors like, Cruella DeWittmer in Michigan and Gavin Kendall Hare Newsom in California and Cuomo in New York and all these other mad, lunatic, tyrannical little wannabe czars and kings of their own kingdom were putting everybody into lockdown. People are watching their TVs and they're saying, wow, look, people in Florida, they're actually allowed to leave their homes. Kids are they get to go to school. They get to go to the beach. They get to do stuff. It's freedom. And Ron DeSantis, in that moment, he hit his rock star status. And then, of course, he took on Disney over wokeism. But now he's gone off the hinges and just going, just right wing, white ring, that even conservative attorney generals across the state of Florida are saying, whoa, time out. Whoa, you're going, where are you getting this from? And somehow he's got his little political team around him. They're going to help him launch his national campaign. They suck. They're awful. They're awful. He doesn't go on podcasts. He doesn't do any alternative media. And everything that he does is very safe. Now, he became a darling of Rupert Murdoch, who does not like Donald Trump, did not want Donald Trump, and so he got his money behind Ron DeSantis. The problem is Ron is tanking in the polls, and he's tanking because he's not authentic. The people see through him. Many of his policies in Florida have been good. I helped Ron DeSantis get elected the first time, and I'm telling you, Donald Trump is not exaggerating. We dragged him across the finish line. He almost got beat by a meth head coke fiend who, engages in, just wild behavior and sexual proclivities. Ron DeSantis almost lost to that guy. And I know they try to talk about, well, look what he crushed it in 2020, and all of his candidates crushed it, and Trump's candidates didn't, and blah 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 blah. He's the guy. He was the setup by the deep state, the Trojan horse, to make us think we were getting Trump without the drama, without the indictments and the tweets, and I have no doubt Ron DeSantis would have put some Trump policies in place, but he would have given the deep state what they want. Their little proxy war with Russia, the coming war with China. He would have fueled the military-industrial complex. He would have kept the gravy train rolling. We would have gotten some social issue wins under him, but he wasn't going to do anything for the economy. That's Ron DeSantis. And now Rupert Murdoch and the other billionaires have figured out he's getting crushed by Donald Trump. In the aggregate polls, Trump has a 30-point lead over Ron DeSantis, a 40-point lead over the rest of the pack. And so now they're starting to look around. Who do we get behind? Who do we support? Some people thought that support would go to Mike Pence. And I told you, Mike Pence is the guy that the deep state would really love to have, because he's come right out and said, we need to put boots on the ground in Ukraine and go after Russia. Now, in the wet dream fantasies of the military-industrial complex, they're all going, yes. But they do understand in reality and practicality, can't do that. That marketing strategy is not going to work. And people don't like Mike Pence. Nobody likes Mike Pence. Mike Pence gets booed off stage like Lindsey Graham. Even at a Trump rally, Lindsey Graham got booed off the stage. In his own state, in his own county, in his own hometown, he got booed off the stage. So Fox News, that got so gung-ho behind Ron DeSantis, Rupert Murdoch now backing off. Why? The last time Ron DeSanctimonious Deep State Ron appeared on Fox News, he got real questions. Whenever a media outlet has a candidate that they're covering for, Joe Biden, Hunter Biden, and then all of a sudden they begin to push back on the press secretary, begin to start asking real questions, that the editorial powers that be behind closed doors have said, we've been given the green light, get him. Fox News has been given the green light by the Murdochs regarding Ron DeSantis, get him. The editorial pages of the New York Post are shredding Ron DeSantis. Oh, that's right. Rupert Murdoch owns the New York Post. So the love affair with Ron DeSantis is over. They're backing off. They're backing away. They can't really go to Race Bannon from Johnny Quest, i.e. Mike Pence. The name of Tim Scott is being floated around because, again, oh, look, he's conservative. The MAGA people would like him. And he's black. This is great. Let's get behind him. See, the billionaires play with this country like it's a toy. The ruling class oligarch play with us like we're a toy. I'm not saying we need to have a weak defense. I have no problem with maintaining a strong military. They don't need to be deployed all around the world. NATO is not about protecting Europe. It's about protecting oil. Bum, ba-dum, bum. Why do you think no American president was ever worried that, NATO countries weren't paying their fair share? Because we were using NATO like it was our own little private security force just to make sure that the oil flowed. And now look what's happening. And Zelensky is beginning to wake up that he was pimped out like a whore on a street corner by Joe Biden. They didn't let Ukraine in NATO. They let Sweden in, which is a mistake. Really, NATO should have been gone in the 90s when the Cold War ended and the Berlin Wall came down. They're not there about securing Europe. They're there about securing oil. And all you green people better figure out that all of your wet dream fantasies about, having a Green New Deal, that's nothing but lip service that you're getting even from the libloons in your party, because in reality, the world's economy is not green and it's not Bitcoin yet, it's oil. So, Fox News has now developed, I like what Dick Morris calls it, ABT, anybody but Trump. Anybody but Trump. And hear me when I say this. They'll back Biden if that's what it comes down to. Biden v. Trump. So this is where we're at now. You've got Ray Epps, who was one of the orchestrators of the Fedsurrection, allegedly. Got to throw that word allegedly in, because he's now out with lawsuits, and he's suing Fox News and Tucker Carlson because he's now going to be charged by the feds. He should have been charged on day one. We got him on video. We didn't go into the Capitol. We're going to go into the Capitol. We see him whispering in people's ears, and then all of a sudden they're breaking down barricades and heading into the Capitol. And yet we've been told repeatedly by the left, leave this poor sucker alone. And Fox News will capitulate. They'll give Ray Epps some money. Ray Epps is never really going to see the inside of a jail cell again. This is a false flag. Ray Epps is in on the con. The con is to make you think that he's going to jail, and in reality, he'll be on a beach somewhere in Bermuda, chugging back tropical drinks with umbrellas in them, having done his job, which was to try to kneecap Donald Trump and paint the Fedsurrection as a Trump insurrection. And by the way, the media outlets all know this. Fox News, see, Tucker Carlson got off the leash. He did things that were a no-no. Chuck E. Cheese Schumer said, Fox News, you've got to get rid of Tucker Carlson. And they did. They were willing to kill their own network to do it. And now they got their new lineup. They're debuting it Monday night. Jesse Waters goes to 8 o'clock, the Tucker Carlson time slot. Laura Ingraham is going to 7 o'clock, and Greg Gutcheck gets 10 o'clock. Just kind of spitballing an idea off the top of my head here. Rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic didn't stop it from sinking. And that's all Fox News is doing right now. They're just rearranging the deck chairs. They either need to bring Tucker back, or they need to find another bomb thrower who is also incredibly intellectually articulate, have that time slot and keep him off the chain and let him actually tell the truth. And I promise you, Fox News ratings would come back. Of course, they're not going to do that. Just like Budweiser could start to recoup their losses. They've dropped to the 14th beer in the nation. They're number 14. They're not even in the top 10. They used to be number 1 just about 6 months ago. They were number 1, and now they're number 14. All they'd have to do is come out and say, man, we blew it, we're sorry. No, they just keep turning out new commercials, pretending like nothing happened. Well, yeah, something did happen. You tried to pass off so-and-so's brother as a sister. It's just not going to stop. Fox News could fix their ratings downfall by bringing on someone like Tucker, who immediately connects with the audience, tells the truth, and that audience would return in droves. But they're not going to do that. They would rather tank their ratings because they don't care. That's not where their money comes from. So Fox News, over the next few weeks, we will watch them get further and further from Ron DeSanctimonious, who has gone off script because he thinks, his political experts are telling him the way you beat Trump is to be more to the right than Trump. And he's coming across like a crackpot loon now. And he's inauthentic. You know who the two most authentic people running right now? Donald Trump, Robert Kennedy Jr. You don't have to like Robert Kennedy Jr. as far as his policies, but you cannot deny when you listen to him talk, he believes what he's saying. He's sincere. He's authentic. He isn't doing the politician when, most career politicians, if the media had gone after them the way they have RFK Jr. on the things that he has said, they would be out there doing mea culpas and recanting and backpedaling and let me offer a clarification and let me just say, after some thought and some research, I realized I was wrong about. He doesn't. Why? Because this is the real deal. And you do remember that he spent his life as an attorney litigating against deadly vaccines. And the reason these doctors will go on CNN and other platforms and just bash him but refuse to debate him, they know he knows more about the subject than they do. So, Robert Kennedy Jr., authentic. Donald Trump, authentic. Ron DeSantis, they just rolled him off the deep state assembly line, made him the so-called MAGA version of the deep state. And the truth is, we MAGA patriots ain't buying it.